Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting for the Town of Wareham. This is May 23rd, 2024. It's 6:30 p.m. We're located in room now 520 at the Multi-Service Center, broadcast on Comcast Channel 26 and Verizon Channel 29. May I have a roll call, please?
Jim Gibberti, present.
Peter Dunlop, present.
Bob Scanlon, present.
Bernie Pigeon, present.
Sandy Slavin.
We have a quorum, 5 members, excuse me. And now I'd like to take the opportunity to turn the meeting over to the Vice Chair, Jim Gibberti.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. First thing on our agenda is meeting minutes.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from February 16th, 23, November 16th, 23, February 8th, 24, February 22nd, 24, March 14th, 2024, March 28th, 2024, April 11th, 2024, and May 9th, 2024.
Not everybody was present at every one of those meetings, so we can't approve them as a blanket,
They can still vote.
not as approval. If we were to accept them, they could vote. Approval only if they've got recognition that they have seen the video. Approving is different than accepting. If you were to change your motion to accept, then everybody can vote.
I changed my motion to accept.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed 500. To accept. Jesus Christ. We have 2 contract policies. One is GHD change order to extend the expiration date to allow the final invoice for Kendrick bypass to be paid.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Question, what is the extended date to? What are we extending the date to?
I believe that was in your packet.
I did not get a packet today.
You got the packet last week. That was in that packet. Everybody had the same packet for this week.
For the record, can we have a date for the record?
I am looking for it right at the moment. Weston Sampson, here, and we'll have it. Ding, ding, ding. All right, Weston Sampson was it? No, that's not the one I want. That's not the one I want. Wait a minute, where'd it go? It was right here.
Yeah, it's hard to accept a change order when we don't know what we're changing.
From July 30th, 23 to October 20th, enable a change order to be paid.
From what the dates were extended, you mumbled and I did not hear them, I'm sorry, over the air
July
condition.
30th to October 1st.
2024?
No, this was 23, because we're trying to get this paid. This is a back payment.
Oh, this is, we extended it from July 23 to October 23? 2023?
Right, October 1st.
We're that far in arrears with it?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Can I have a vote again? All in favor?
Aye.
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 5000. And then we have Weston Sampson, clarifies and headworks oversight phase 2, which is $415,000. And the contract starts on the date the contract is executed by the town administrator and expires 1 year from the date the contract is executed by the town administrator. Okay.
So that means they're overseeing the Weston and Sampson will do the oversight of the project?
Affirmative.
So GHD's not involved?
Affirmative. Have a motion?
I don't have a packet.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 500.
So this is a contract for just $415,000.
Right. Kodak. Okay, that one's done, that one's done. We have some abatements that were carried over from the last meeting. 3 of them. One is Charles Tiffany Gavin, 14 Highland Ave. Get the actual abatement here. Is the amount of $766.82. And this is recommended by the superintendent. No, what's the title? Okay, we'll leave it.
So moved.
Director, that's it. By the
So
sewer
moved.
director.
Seconded.
For clarification, please put the account number in the motion so it can be formally put in the minutes.
735332. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
500. Brian, the second one is 1 Nimrod Way, account number 739479. That's not Highland, that's Highland, that's not, that's the one, there we go. In the amount of $371.50, and that recommend we approve it.
So moved.
The second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
500. And the third one is 26 Terry Lane, 737806, in the amount of $766.82 for approval.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
500.
Jimmy, for question, just a question.
Yep.
We're only really going on Scott's approval. Why do we even have to bother with abatements? Why can't we have him?
That's, that was gonna be the next thing to come up as an aside. From my standpoint, I agree with you. I don't think there's any reason for us to be doing this, Scott. makes the
We're
approval,
adding
and
nothing to the process.
Absolutely nothing.
I think
But we're
that,
doing it well.
We are. I second that.
Yes, we are, we're doing that very well.
I think, I think it's in the bylaws that we have to, it has to come before the board.
I think you may be right on that, but I'm not positive.
But I see no reason for us to do it. I agree with your concept, but I think we're locked in.
Could I say something on this?
Certainly, go right ahead.
Absolutely.
We had an interesting thing come up yesterday where a house was provided an abatement a couple years back. The house was then sold. In that time, a bill had gone out but not been paid. And apparently there was a process in place of taking, once you abate one of the accounts, it would stay abated until someone came and said that, hey, we got the water going on again or something. So I don't find a mechanism at the plant to determine when someone has moved into a house. I don't have a way to record that. So what I would like to do is take everyone that has been abated in the past and make sure we put them all back into the mix so that they can all come to us for abatements. It's not that big a pull
Okay.
to say, hey, I haven't had water here in a year. Please abate this so I don't pay my bill.
We talked about this at a prior meeting, that Peter brought up the good point, is when do we know that they turn back on, and we don't. So we talked about
We've had this discussion before.
About-
And we didn't, nothing got
putting them
resolved.
back a bill within a year after abatement, putting them back on the register to be billed.
Okay, this particular discussion on this particular issue is not much different than the policy we set on allowing gallonage to a particular property that comes in and is looking to hook up and doesn't do anything for a year. They either come back to us to let us know why they haven't, or they lose it. So we're kind of talking the same thing here. If they don't come back, they get billed.
So what I'm hearing is that maybe, once we've issued an abatement, within 12 months, we put them back on the bill and charge them and let them come back and say, hey, my house is still burnt down, I don't have anything. That way, if we say,
Well,
check
that-
everybody,
If the house is burnt down, they don't have to wait the year.
well, we don't know. It's one of those things that we don't know what the circumstances, so if we were to by policy say,
Well-
everybody within a year, put them back on.
Now,
Scott,
you're-
within
you're
your
talking-
administration, is there any formal process by which you would be notified that the water's been turned back on?
What I'm trying to say is, no, we have no.
We don't.
I have no.
Right.
I've not seen anything come in to say, hey, there's now water here. The only thing I ever see is from a lawyer or real estate agent asking me for a final meter reading, which we don't have one. But it doesn't tie back in. Now I'd have to go and search out all of the abated people. I guess my point is, if we put in their package when they get a bill, here's how to do an abatement. If you've not had water to your property in a year, please get the water bill and the usage data, put it in a package with the bill, with a letter saying, I'd like this abated, and send it to us, and we can do a quick process. I think it's a fairly easy, like even this is a fairly easy process. Even if we had to come back to the meeting to formally abate it, it's worthwhile to keep kicking them back into the system and let them come to us. It's not difficult on either end to
No.
do it.
I was gonna
The
say-
difficulty comes in me trying to find out when someone's in a house again. I'll never know.
So we
Hey,
should
go
be a
ahead, Peter.
party to the permit when they turn the water on. We should be part of that notification then.
I say it doesn't matter. If we're sticking to the EDU system, the only thing that matters is the abatement when they come and get the water bill to say, I've been off for a year or more. Doesn't matter more, just a year. But Peter had something to say, sorry.
Go ahead, Peter.
When I spoke to both water departments, this was before Christiana left. Every 6 months, Pollution Control sent a letter to both water departments asking whether or not the abated properties had been turned back on. That was the policy.
Really?
Okay,
Yes.
I hadn't seen that.
Wow. Okay, and?
Yes. And it was also the policy from Pollution Control to send the list to the treasurer's office as who was to be billed. And that was done every 6 months. I don't know what the policy is any longer since Christiana was forced out.
Well, if it's just the same with everyone, I'd like to put all properties back on the list and start over,
I mean, it's,
for lack of a better phrase.
Well, you're safer that way, asking them to reapply for an abatement.
Long as you're all in agreement.
Positively safer that way.
Okay, as long as you're all in agreement, that's
Yeah.
all
I
it
think
is.
it's easier for the homeowner to control their bill than for us
you
to,
send those back out, they're gonna pick,
Monitor them.
some are just gonna pick up the phone and ask what's going on. Because they think,
Well, they'll
which is
just have
fine,
to
which is not a
reapply for an
problem, but
abatement.
that's all.
That's a simple system. I don't see any problem with it. I don't see any reason not to institute it right away. It's not a charge to anybody. It doesn't affect anybody negatively. All it does is it lets us know what the hell is going on.
Right, and in the future, we could expedite the system slightly to have them do it online. You want to scan your documents in and send it to us, maybe we can get that to you. No, you don't like that. You want me to continue with carrier pigeon, and
Well,
Snail mail.
that's right, we'll fox them.
see,
So, do you want a motion?
I'm old
Change
enough to know
policy?
how to use a pencil.
That's a Sharpie.
Yeah, but you probably still write cursive too, and nobody can understand that.
I understand, I get it, I'm trying to think of
Sounds like a good plan.
process.
If it's an option, I'll go along with you 100%, but to say that's the only way to do it, I'd be careful
Well, I'm
about
not
that.
saying the only way, I'm asking for an option for an
Oh,
expedited
yeah.
process. If we can provide one, I don't know how to do it, but we have pretty talented people here in town that could.
Yeah, let's get a motion and just put this out so that's, He's
Just a
covered.
question. Any idea how many abatements that would be covered by that?
I don't know how yet. Yeah, we just started, like, it
gotta
came up
be
yesterday,
material.
and I was like, started asking around, now we have a new bookkeeper, I wanted to bring her into the idea.
Mm-hmm.
How do we address this? You know,
Sounds
put the
good.
onus back on the user. We're happy to abate it. But tracking is nearly, I think it's gonna fall on us, and we're gonna try to keep tracking down people.
Yeah.
well, that sounds to me like the simplest, easiest, straightforward way to do it for both sides. For them, for us.
Do you want to give a time frame before we review them? 1 year after abatement approved?
You know, basically what Scott said, which was a year after the approval of the abatement.
So the abatement goes backwards, not forward.
Yeah.
So we're abating a past bill.
Like-
Doesn't mean we don't send them a next one, is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, I would,
So this last one we did is, there's zero water usage since November 2021.
Okay. But, so,
but you can only abate a year, right?
I guess the question is, when did this? So they're just showing the water use has been off since 2021, but the bill is to abate their last.
Yep.
bill, so
That's it.
that's the process we want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about how to word it.
Carefully.
That all abatements are to be terminated.
Terminated, yeah.
All abatements are to be terminated and sewer bills reestablished
1 year after
1 year
inception.
after.
After inception
abatement.
of after abatement, yeah.
Well, the statement in the memorandum we approved, it says, "And the request account be placed on hold." That means no further action on it, and we're going to continue.
What are we trying to achieve here?
We're trying to catch the people who had an abatement but started to use their house again, and we don't know it.
We're really not trying to catch anything. We just don't have a way to track if someone's moved back into a house.
Well, if what I was told by the both water departments and Christiana, we're on solid ground.
So we re-implement the policy that had been in place,
Well,
if we can get a copy of it.
I don't know that there was a necessary policy, it was just the procedure that she followed.
Then there had to be written procedure someplace that allowed her to implement that and follow it.
I would assume.
Would it be wrong to implement Scott's plan until such time as there's a better plan?
Put that in a motion.
I agree.
I make a motion to adopt Scott's plan of terminating abatements and reinstating the sewerage bill until such time a better process comes along.
Or better, until the homeowner can prove abatement is still as needed.
Even better.
Yeah.
All we're reestablishing, because I think they get billed every 6 months, correct?
Yes.
So every 6 months you get a bill, and all you have to do is just, boom, send it out, we'll
Yep.
revote, no big deal.
Sounds-
Or if it comes through and it's straightforward, we'll just send it right back, okay.
Is a lien placed on the property if they fail to pay
So-
the bill?
I think it takes years.
So, you,
I'm thinking in terms of I'm getting a bill, I'm not using that property any longer, so I'm just putting it in the outbox. because I'm not using it, what are they gonna do? Water's not turned on.
Okay, so a procedure that abatements are terminated and sewer bills are reestablished until owner can prove the abatement must continue.
It sounds,
Seconded.
Well,
This is a function now
why
that we're
why
creating.
not just simply
with
say
Scott,
that
so
you
he
have
has
to
to-
file every time you want an abatement?
So interestingly, to
That's-
Bernie's
that's
point,
not the question.
putting a lien on, there was no lien put on this property, but first a bill was sent out. It wasn't paid because the person was in the process of selling the house, so didn't pay the bill because it was abated and there was no water turned on. Then the new owner came in and was billed with a demand letter now. So I guess
Oh.
after 90 days, it automatically demand letter goes
That's
out.
handled at the real estate office.
And it half was. But regardless,
It's a utility.
regardless, the point was this person paid it, and then the old owner called up and said, well, there's an abatement. And it's like, well, how would we know? So this is what we need to avoid. Mm-hmm. And we can avoid that
What's
if
that
we
got to
send the
do with
bills.
us?
Well, we sent the bill.
Did we get the money?
Someone got the money. Someone else is searching for it. And
I mean,
now they want an abatement or
Are
a check
we
issue.
out any money because of it? It's something
In
that
this
should have been
case- in
set
this
up
case,
at the
we got
real estate
paid-
office as part of the utilities.
In this case, we potentially got paid more than we should. So are we out money? No.
If we
the
start doing
opposite
that, we're
case-
gonna be in big trouble because we're overcharging everybody now.
What do you mean overcharging them? Is that a different conversation?
Wait till we get to the next item.
okay, where are we with this?
I think you voted it, and you voted it.
I seconded it.
Okay, it's been seconded. Could I have a vote on that motion?
What's the motion?
Reestablish the policy or procedure that abatements are terminated and sewer bills are reestablished until until proof that, never mind. Sewer bills are reestablished, period.
Yes.
Yes.
All we're saying is, we're gonna send a bill. You send us the information that there's an abatement, we abate the bill.
Okay,
So,
Next time the bill comes out, you go through the same process.
fine.
That's all we want.
Yeah.
That's all we want.
Well, that's what we
We
got
don't
now.
want people to pay when
No.
they shouldn't be paying. We want them to come back to the table and say, hey, I satisfy the requirement for an abatement.
My house is still burnt down, I want an abatement. Prove it,
Yeah.
You prove,
So-
you give us the documentation, and we move on. It's
We
abated.
we continue,
It puts the burden of proof on the homeowner.
yep, so we issue another abatement.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I want to do.
Sounds
I
good.
don't want to keep billing people that, and then make them pay anyway. I just want them to be billed and then come to us to say, I shouldn't be. That's
If you bill people and they pay the bill when they should have gotten an abatement, it's certainly not your problem.
all. Agreed, and that's all I want. But if we did the abatements the other way, and we didn't track it properly, and then didn't reach back out to find out if they started using water or not, they might be using the house and not getting a bill. What I want to do is bill everyone, all users of the septic system, sewer system, and let them come to us. That's it.
Put the burden on them to prove.
pretty simple.
Exactly.
I don't think that you have to change any policy. That's basically what we
But
have
it
to...
hasn't been being done. I think we're just saying reestablishing that it should be continuing. Well, he's got a situation in which the house turned water back on and no one told him.
Yeah.
But if we had given them a bill,
I mean, regardless, I
Wouldn't have
think
been
it's
an
a good idea.
Yep.
You know, it just puts the burden on the homeowner. It's not costing anyone any money.
But is it necessary to do that?
Yes.
Because it sounds from my point of view, It's more an internal matter that we can eliminate the need for bothering the homeowner by doing our own due diligence internally, in that formalizing the notice to say, water's been turned back on, bingo, begin
Well-
billing again.
But it,
All it takes is to lose track of a client or.
That's what I mean,
of a
but I
homeowner.
think that's
but then
our
you're putting the,
responsibility to do
you're
that.
putting the burden
Internally.
on this internal staff to go back through the list of the abatements, and every 6 months, check with the 2 water departments to see whether or not there's flow.
So
Exactly.
you've got, so if we do it, I hate to say it my way, if we do it the way that I've put out there, then we avoid the potential of multiple offices within town missing something. Whereas, if we put it back to the homeowner, it's a simple, hey, here's my documentation, okay, here's your abatement.
Yep.
And okay,
Exactly.
you know, we're not the police.
Right now, that's the most accountable way of doing it until such time as, I mean, we have 2 water departments, until such time as everyone is communicating with each other, and that would be probably the better policy in the future. But for now, I think that's the best, your way is the best way to do it.
And a quick review, we've had 8 abatements since the 1st of January.
So, can I have a vote on this motion? The motion hasn't changed. The motion's still the same, right?
Yeah. Aye.
Seconded. Bob's already seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will agree, but I just said, I see it as a keystroke, but I'll agree to it. So sounds like a unanimous.
No, I haven't heard all
No.
votes.
We have 4 ayes.
Ayes.
So you're putting the burden on the homeowner as
Yep.
opposed to sending, as pollution control consulting with the water department every 6 months?
Correct.
Yep.
Which is what has been done, and we don't know that there's been any failure in that policy.
We just had one.
No, well, so I don't know if it was a failure on whose part, that's the question.
Someone turned on the water and wasn't being paid sewer,
Correct,
because we didn't know water was turned back on. So that procedure wasn't working.
correct.
When was the water turned on?
Apparently back in November.
When?
November?
When did Christiana leave?
March?
I'm waiting to record a vote.
Yes.
Okay,
5-0.
5-0. Okay. Okay, moving on. Last meeting, we discussed briefly changing EDU definition going forward for a limited controlled reduction in the moratorium, i.e. going forward, EDUs would be based on a 3-bedroom or less home, apartment, or condominium. Additional bedrooms beyond the 3 would be assessed at a .2 EDU increase in charge per bedroom.
Would we be better saying dwelling?
Well,
No, I'm sorry, Jimmy, it's just
No,
that,
dwelling could be a 1-bedroom or 3-bedroom or 5-bedroom, so that's why I want to
so
be
you said
definitive.
home, apartment, or condominiums. Are there any
well,
other?
okay,
3-bedroom or less.
a residential home.
Or
Well,
residential?
you could say that.
I know we're wordsmithing it, but I don't want someone to say, hey, you didn't call my duplex, therefore I'm not included.
What is concerned is a single EDU as applied to a homeowner? Because if that's a category, you can identify it easily enough by date certain. Anything going forward with an addition is now at charge an additional .2 EDU. But you establish your existing inventory of those that are classified as 1 EDU as to be the dwelling. If they're going to do an additional room on, bedroom, or whatever, now they must charge, will be charged an additional .2. But, a date certain and going forward. That's all I'm
I
adjusting.
believe they're confusing it a little bit here, because I believe the discussion came up with, the reason this came up as a discussion to begin with is because we have somebody with a, as I understand it, a 2-bedroom home that wants to add a bedroom. Now, to put on a bedroom, we say, tell them no, but the person next door has got a vacant
Stop
lot.
pounding your head.
Has got a vacant lot with a stub.
It's like sitting
And they can
next
put
to
up a
Nikita
6-bedroom
Khrushchev, for
home.
Christ's sake.
Oh, and
we can hook 'em up.
I agree with your rationale, I certainly do, yes.
So
So if we
a
can,
3-bedroom home was established because that's basically what the Title V
Yeah,
Yeah, but
basis
Title,
is.
Jimmy,
Title V was where this got started in the first place, or at least what they used as
yeah,
a
but
basis.
I
So
don't
whether
think
you
that's a
like
good
Title V or you
basis.
don't like Title V, that's what we're dealing with.
Right, but Title V deals in gallons and we're not.
as of a
We
to be
are.
determined date, all homes are charged 1 EDU as they stand today.
Correct.
All residential dwellings, regardless of the size, as of date specific, are charged 1 EDU.
Correct.
I would,
If any home has an expansion of a bedroom, a creation of a new bedroom, in excess of 3, they get charged a .2 incremental on their EDU, whether or not it is a expansion, a renovation, a building, a creation, or whatever, as of this date specific.
you,
I just,
But, no, that's,
Just a second. All of that is fine until you come up with a new house being built that's 4 bedrooms. How many EDUs is it?
1.2.
1.2.
Why .2?
I'm just, it could have been
Well-
.1,
What about
Well,
.3?
I'm asking why 2?
because the additional flow.
Well, if you're basing it on the EDU, which is the 3-bedroom, then it would be .3.
Okay, we'll do .3.
it's as equally as arbitrary.
It's-
Well,
it's-
Point
The-
2 or the point,
The
or
problem,
just the point
the
1?
problem I
Just the
have
one.
with the whole thing is, if we establish this sort of policy, do I have legal grounds as a 1-bedroom to now seek an abatement? Because I would be 1/3 an EDU.
Who's to say? That might very well be something we look at in the future by.
Well, I think we.
That is a possibility.
I
We're
think-
not ready to do that now, but it is
I think before
possibility.
we set a policy, we best check through it legal.
If you wanted to do something and rephrase it,
I mean,
because you cannot
No, wait, let Peter
specify-
finish. Let Peter finish.
Sorry. Go ahead, Peter.
if we say an EDU is a 3-bedroom,
No,
it's 110 gallons per bedroom.
So the way it was phrased was up to 3 bedrooms is an EDU. Any dwelling, 1 bedroom or up to 3 is 1
Yeah, see, but
EDU.
once again, you're basing it on Title V. Stay away
Nope.
from Title V.
We're not basing it on Title V at all. We're basing on the current EDU schedule. And even by doing this, if we start getting people wanting to build 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom houses in town, or adding, hold on,
I
or
under-
adding bedrooms, we can start to look back at these, the retirees in the area that are living on, and maybe that's a case where we can begin to provide abatements to them for a reduction to them based on individual stats. We could come up with a reason to do it, and it falls into a category. But until we capture the idea that, this person can buy a lot with a stub, put up a 6-bedroom house next to a 2-bedroom cottage that's existing, and I have to say no to adding a bedroom to the cottage, but yes to the 6-bedroom house. I'm trying to get over that hump while allowing the six-bedroom house to get built and building them 1.6 EDUs from now on. Now, what do we see for actual flow? Typically, when people add a bedroom, all they're doing is taking existing people and giving them their own bedroom. And in a six-bedroom house, the actuality of someone actually having that many people in the house at all times would be rare. So what I'm trying to do is account for the additions beyond a reasonable single-family home dwelling, whatever you want to call it, and allow for the volume that we do have available at the plant to be utilized while adding the fee, and then looking backwards to see maybe at some point we could come up with a criteria. I don't think by saying that as long as it's phrased up to, single-family dwelling up to 3 is 1 EDU. Because we're not going to prevent that house with the single bedroom, 2-bedroom from putting a 3rd bedroom on the future. If we did that and they wanted to get a reduction, then we might have the grounds to be like, okay,
So
this lot is now only allotted that much.
are you saying that if I had a 1-bedroom, I could put 2 more bedrooms on and not be charged any additional sewage?
That's correct. You can go up to 3 bedrooms
Up to
without
3.
getting additional charge.
Now, what you're doing,
Just by saying that, you're leaving yourself open for me to file an abatement as a 1-bedroom home.
no. Because the charging, because you have to think there's a lot of words here. How you interpret them or apply them is critical, because we have 1 EDU for a dwelling unit. We haven't described what's in that dwelling unit, and we can't, because that EDU includes infrastructure charges. So it doesn't make any difference if I have a 1-bedroom or a 3-bedroom, my infrastructure supplying your house is the same. So now what you're doing is including the burden of the infrastructure. And that's the difficulty of defining that. You want to pick up the extra cost for that infrastructure. It has to be, because as you point out, you can't define the usage that's going to increase, because I snore too much, so now I'm putting on a bedroom. So it has to be with the infrastructure cost that you're going to add to the burden of the system. And it can't be equated as somebody, putting a bedroom on that, but not added people. You have to establish your base rate, which you've done, 1 EDU. So going forward, everybody who's currently in the system with a single EDU has to continue that. That's our basic system. What we increase now is when you want to put an addition on. Frankly, I don't care what you're putting on, another kitchen or another bedroom. I think an additional 0.2 is appropriate, because you have to consider your infrastructure costs.
That doesn't make sense to me.
The whole issue really doesn't make a lot of sense, because there's a lot of missing in the definition.
What are we trying to achieve? Let the people add an addition to their home because we have capacity to spare? Is that basically what we're trying to get done?
Yes. So I'm trying to account for additions. And again, some of these additions are being put on by people that are coming from other states that have money, right? So again, I don't want to tell our current residents they can't put another bedroom on. So a 2-bedroom house can't go to 3.
No,
I
I
don't
mean,
want to tell people that. I'm not going to go back. The idea isn't to go back now and try to find out how many bedrooms every existing dwelling has.
so
The
it's,
idea is going forward, you want to come and you want to put a house on a lot with an existing
so
stuff.
you're more or less saying what's grandfathered in is grandfathered in. Going forward, this is the way it will be.
As of
Correct.
a
Yeah, that's it.
specific
I
date
want to
and
leave
time.
everything alone. I want to leave everything existing alone. When you want to come in and you want to put a house on,
I understand that, and I totally agree with it. What I don't know is whether grandfathering it is going to pass the legal test.
it happens all the time.
It exists.
This, yeah, exactly.
Because it
exists.
exists right now. We could very well say, as of July 1st, 2024, all new building permits for homes, dwellings on sewer will have a .2 EDU increase for each bedroom as of, over 3, as of July 1st, 2024. Date specific.
What's the cost of doing this change? Because we have a contractor that does our billing for us and all.
What's the cost?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a contractor, and he currently uses a scale that we've established on an EDU in his programming. So he's gonna have to establish or add another category.
Well, frankly, this is where we could take the efforts, instead of trying to chase abatements, to chase this new fee and work with the town accountant to find it. I would rather put the effort into doing that, moving forward,
Yeah,
than to chase abatements or not abatements.
I mean, the change is just a phone call to the vendor, to see if he's gonna charge us extra or what, through John Foster. So it's not a problem in terms of that, just the implementation as to the billing, he has to do the programming.
The process for a bill to be issued, what is it? The sewer department has a street address with an EDU rate next to it, and that EDU rate times something is the dollar amount sent to accounting, treasurer, or do we send them the EDU percentage?
I'd have to ask. I'm not 100% sure on that yet.
So 36 Oak Street is .1 EDU. Or is 36 Oak Street, what is it, 300 and some odd dollars a half? I don't know whether or not we give accounting, we give treasurer the dollar amount to bill, or we give treasurer the EDU rate to factor in and bill.
Whatever it is, we can adjust it
Yep.
to meet it, that's all,
So,
I would say.
Again, I
But-
only want to do it moving forward.
Yeah.
Like the
And-
existing house, you got a 10-bedroom house in town, well, it's still one EDU. Good for you.
and so this is something that we would have to definitely pass by treasurer to make sure that the processes are in place to accommodate a fractional EDU for a dwelling.
Well, no, all you need to find out is whether or not we're sending them a dollar figure or we're sending them a percentage figure.
Yes.
If we're sending
And
them a
so-
dollar figure, then what comes out of the office, then if it's 1.1 EDUs, it's the base rate plus 1/10, then they send the dollar figure down.
So there has to be some type of
So it
software
doesn't-
package in the office that
So it's
says,
gotta be,
yeah. So 36 Oak Street
calculator.
becomes 1.2.
yeah,
So there's, yeah,
but it's an automatic then on that particular residence.
someone has to enter it in.
Yeah,
That's all.
well,
A hypothetical, I have a 2-bedroom home. I'm gonna add a 3rd bedroom.
One EDU.
One EDU.
You're still one EDU.
I said I was asking a question.
Yeah, okay. Up to,
Yeah, so going forward, you have a vacant lot with a
Yeah.
stub, you put up a 3-bedroom house, still one EDU.
Because the reason I use that as an example of, is the assessor side. They don't track bedrooms. They have
So-
no way of knowing,
Right.
so we can't use that database to establish on it. I just,
it's,
The only thing that I get to see is the building plan, and
Yeah.
they call out bedrooms when I'm supposed to approve things. And this is where I get to say, I'm like, geez, that's a 4-bedroom. A lot of 4-bedrooms going up right now. And I've specifically
Oh.
held off approving certain things because I'm like, if we pass this, we could start this tonight. Now, you could vote on it, I think, and you could vote on it pending legal review, just to make sure, like Peter's saying, hey, does this leave us in the open for someone to come up and say, I only have 2 bedrooms, I only want to pay 0.6 EDUs, or whatever the argument might be. So, I think you could still pass it as discussed, and then bring it for review. That way, we can say, as of today going forward, if I approve these things, we get to start the next billing cycle with a different fractional EDU rate above 1.
Okay, let me ask another question now, totally away from this. Now, this will be in order to get around the moratorium.
No, we haven't had a moratorium discussion yet.
No,
It would, so,
Well, that...
you're right, you're right, you're right, you're
We
right.
have not talked to moratorium yet.
Okay,
Well,
We will shortly.
that would be the
Well,
next.
It can be discussed in this.
just a second.
Certainly can.
If in fact we're going to do this and allow Scott to allow a fourth bedroom in a three-bedroom home, therefore you're increasing the flow. And if you did a dozen of these, does that negate the person who was on the queue that wanted to put up a new building because now we don't have flow?
I think the beauty is it takes them off the queue, and we allow it. So
Excuse
yes,
me?
So the way that I had worded it in my email was to allow for the 41Bs, existing residents to add bedrooms, and,
So
and
they more or less jump to the head of the queue.
there's no more queue. We get in touch with these people.
Keep in mind, if I have a stub, I'm not subject to a moratorium in any way, shape, or form.
That's the issue. They can add.
Anybody with a stub can build without a consideration for a moratorium, because it was my understanding our capacity for the moratorium was based on all the stubs being connected. You have a stub, we can't stop you.
Yes,
But we're now saying, let's look at the size you're adding.
The vacant lot with the stub was on the must connect list. We can't stop them.
But isn't that contrary to flow?
No, because we were told that everybody with a stub had the flow considered
Do they
in.
have, if I have a stub, I can have a 10-bedroom house?
Right now, yes.
now, yes.
Well, that's up to the planning department, but
Well-
yes.
Well, you can anyway. What we're saying is you're going to be paying.
If I have a 2-bedroom house on a piece of property with a stub, I can convert it to a 10-bedroom house, and that's not
Are you- no,
increasing...
no. Are you-
That's not increasing flow?
Oh, that's not what
Not,
she's saying.
that's not what I'm saying.
Not what she's
Your
saying.
stub, you have an existing building, you can't change it. What we're asking for is a stub with a vacant lot is what Scott is trying to address. But if you're connected to the stub already, then you're part of the moratorium. Because your connection was included in the flow used to put a foundation to establish the moratorium.
So my stub was included in the moratorium
Yes.
at what flow?
One EDU.
So no,
But it's not a flow.
to your point, the existing dwelling
An EDU is not a
is-
flow.
Is an
is currently under the
All I
moratorium.
wanted-
Hold on, the existing dwelling is currently stuck under the moratorium and cannot add any bedrooms because it was existing.
Because it's increasing flow.
But so is the stub on the vacant lot with the must connect list would be increasing flow, but it's not subject to the moratorium in the same way. And that's the shame I'm trying to get around, which would be the next discussion. But to accomplish this, I'd like to change the EDU schedule so that these houses that are, you're gonna start seeing McMansions in Wareham, nonstop. So you need to address that.
Well, I totally agree that the EDU schedule should be totally gone over.
But I'd like to, I think this would allow us going forward to lock in the 1 EDU rate for the single-family dwellings.
Dwellings, that's.
And then going forward,
I understand the criteria, and I totally agree with what you're trying to accomplish. I'm just worried about the complications it can cause.
again, I think as long as you read the wording up to 3 bedrooms is 1 EDU, period. You've accounted for the stub, the infrastructure that Bernie talked about. We still had to get that sewer line all the way out to you.
Oh,
So again, someone in Swiss Beach, okay, that's pretty far away from the plant and is in a 2-bedroom cottage saying, I don't think I need to pay a full EDU, or say it's even a smaller one, I don't know if they have 1-bedroom cottages on Swiss
yeah.
Beach. Anyway, I don't know.
Half a bedroom.
I don't mean to pick on Swiss Beach, I just thinking about it because I've been
Sure
in that
you
area
do.
so
We're the
much.
redheaded stepchild as well.
I just been in that area so much, but you know, those are the ones that have the smaller beach houses. So they're still going to pay the 1 EDU because we had to get the infrastructure there. And, you know, they're still, they still have to be serviced by the plant. And the plant currently is being run on the funds from the EDUs that are coming in. So if we do it like this, again, I think we say up to 3 bedrooms. So that accounts for an estimated amount of flow up to a certain amount per Title V, which frankly, we all know is typically 100% or 50% over the amount you normally see. That's fine. But it also accounts for all the infrastructure to get it out there. And just having the stub in line. And then, you know, let's not forget, some of these stubs are old on those smaller houses, and they're perforated, and when it rains, we get water in. And it takes effort to go out with a crew and cameras, which cost a lot of money, jet trucks, which cost a lot of money, to go out, inspect these lines, and find the leaks, and identify it for either the homeowner or us to go out and repair to solve the problem. So, you know, when you say the term up to, we're not saying the EDU is up to 1 EDU. We're saying it's 1 EDU for any dwelling of any size up to 3 bedrooms. And I think that's the way around it. But again, you vote on it now, take it to legal, make sure it's okay. But if you let it go now, we can start that process earlier and then get to the next discussion.
Somebody
But
today
I would
has,
agree with you that if we vote on it now, you're able to put it on hold. So what you want to accomplish and hold and wait. So you
Well, Right, I can start tracking these things
Yes.
as I approve them. But we have to, some of these things have to be approved based on the next discussion on the itinerary
so
agenda.
if we say that as of a date to be determined, any existing home, any existing dwelling, any existing plans are under the existing policy of 1 EDU per dwelling, regardless of the size.
Up to.
No, if I have a
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
four-bedroom now,
existing, yeah,
it's-
yeah.
I want to make sure that as of the particular date, as everything that has existed or has got a plan in the works is subject to 1 EDU per dwelling. As of a particular date to be determined based on legal review, we will implement a .2 increase for home, any bedroom in excess of 3.
I would make it be, you know, as of
Tonight,
as of May 23rd, 2024, hold on. As of May 23rd, 2024, going forward, the existing dwellings currently being built, 1 EDU, are dwellings that are existing, period. Existing dwellings are going to continue to be built 1 EDU. Going forward, dwellings that are above 3 bedrooms will be billed .2 EDUs per bedroom.
Based on
over
their
the 3.
Nope.
based,
Not based on anything.
well, based on the plan being submitted to the building inspector as of a particular date, anything after that date, they're
I would
subject
say
to this.
as approved by the sewer director as of
Today,
May 23rd, 2024.
right, I
I
agree.
would suggest more preliminary or rough language until we get the details
So,
actual,
Yep.
because there's
yes,
versions
so
around the
Did
table.
you-
I would use what I just said, semicolon, subject to legal review. So in other words, this whole vote goes away if we find out legal review says you can't do that.
Exactly.
So everything in your pile of work to be done would be subject to this increase if we put the date of 5/23/24 on it.
All residents
Subject to legal review.
Yes, subject
is
to,
grandfathered.
Yes,
All the residents is grandfathered.
yes. All existing dwellings,
This is just going,
Currently-
we're talking about going forward only. We're
Yep.
not talking about going back.
right.
no,
So,
But if you've just signed something 2 days ago, it would be
It's
not
still
subject-
grandfathered, yeah.
Gran-
You know, good for
Okay.
them.
I think that's the way to go. I mean, we need to get this thing off square one.
So yeah, you're
And
voting
then
on
we can
the
talk it
thing
further.
as written, subject to legal review.
That's all.
As of May 23rd,
as of-
2024, as written
May
in
20
that section, subject to legal review. All in favor? You don't like it, Peter.
No, I don't like it. I've never liked this EDU system, and it's not making it any more fair as far as I'm concerned. I understand your criteria, and I totally agree with you. And wording it the way you do, I will support it. But I still think it stinks. I still think the smaller bedroom homes are getting screwed.
And I will tell you that if we do this and we start to see the difference in revenue at the plant, look, the wastewater plant isn't there to make money. We're there to support and continue to upkeep the plant.
Don't say what you're gonna say because you'll get yourself in trouble.
Are you in my head?
I guarantee it.
Okay,
That edge is closer than you think.
get out of my head. But anyway, I think we could look at something else going
I think we
different.
should revisit the EDU schedule overall, and I think we should redouble our efforts to work with the water departments.
Could we pass this as it's going now? Because frankly, if you vote on it or not, it's not going to change the EDU schedule
I
for
would-
those smaller
I would like
dwellings.
to get a motion on this particular thing.
Would you like me to give it a shot?
Yes, please.
As of May 23rd, 2024, all approved bedroom additions by the sewer director will be subject to an additional .2 EDU for any bedroom in excess of 3. That way, anything you approve as of this day will be subject to a .2 increase of EDU for bedrooms in excess of 3. Any existing dwelling,
I think you better leave it alone right there.
Yeah, pending
Sandy,
legal
stop right there.
review.
You
I
don't
think
need to
you
go-
leave it alone right
Leave the
there.
existing alone.
as of 5/23/24, all, you call them building?
You could say
All approved permits.
single-family dwellings.
All single-fam dwellings, all dwellings,
3 bedrooms or less.
no, all
Okay.
Careful,
single
careful.
dwellings approved by sewer director, right, is that it? Is that your title?
Yes. Says so on my shirt.
Approved by sewer director will be subject to a .2 EDU increase for any bedroom over 3.
Why .2?
.1, .2 and a half, point,
I can tell you why.
Well, no, I just,
Yeah, I'll tell you
if you're 3
why.
bedrooms, then it's .3.
Well, I thought that was excessive. And the reason was because typically when people put on a bedroom, it's just to separate people to have their own room. The people are already in there. So again, Title V assumes 2 people
I
per
mean,
bedroom.
In a
Anyway,
minute, we're
the
gonna be
point
saying
was,
how many
if we
people can
say-
sleep in a bedroom.
No, we can't actually adjust that. But anyway, when I looked at .1 EDUs, it's $70 a year, right? So .2 is 140. It doesn't sting that much, but if you can afford a 4-bedroom house, you can have an extra 100.
Well, then if you can afford a 4-bedroom house, you can afford .3.
We can revisit to .3 if you want to, but I think
Well,
.2.
the sooner
.2 seemed
you
reasonable.
get to .3 on a 4-bedroom, the sooner you're gonna get to .3 on my 1-bedroom.
okay. Should I try that again?
I'd careful of the use of bedrooms, too.
Again, I don't think segmenting the EDU into thirds accounts for the infrastructure in place to service that 1-bedroom dwelling.
Right.
If you're basing it on Title V, which is the 3 bedrooms, is 1 EDU,
The EDU was not based on Title V. The EDU was based on the cost to operate the plant. It had zero to do with actual flow. It had to do with the amount of cost for the infrastructure and upkeep, is what the
Yes.
EDU was based on. The EDU was not meant for Title V. They are separate and apart. Never the two shall meet.
And
Just to
that's
be
why I
clear,
have
just to be
problem-
clear, the EDU schedule had zero to do with Title V.
No. That's why the language, as we all expressed it, has to do with that definition, the number of gallons, and it does not.
Yeah, Title V will only help you if you're trying to build a soil absorption system. That's it. The EDU schedule was the only way to account for not having everyone tied in at the same time. So you had to put a plant in place, put the infrastructure out to dwellings, and then get the flow back to the plant to start treatment.
Okay.
That's what the EDU schedule was based on. So unfortunately, for the one-bedroom houses, yes, it is a bit much. However, that's how we had to account for the,
Should I try it again?
Go right ahead, Sandy, please.
As of 5/23/24, all single-dwelling projects approved by the sewer director will be charged .2 EDU increase for each bedroom in excess of 3.
Stop.
Pending legal review, right?
Pending legal review.
Okay.
you got it all?
Kelly, I think we finally got it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 This was fun. No?
It's people helping people. Yeah.
Still a stinky system. Isn't that apropos?
Is that,
That is, I like that.
are you voting for or against, Peter?
I did. I voted for.
Oh, you did.
We
Thank
have a
you.
500,
500, okay, thank you.
if I heard it correctly.
Number 7, extend the contract of CWL until the 30th of June. This is at no additional expense to us in any way.
So moved.
He just wants some additional time.
Second.
Vote first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Which contract was it that we got a note from Patty that she wanted included in the agenda?
I think it was the Weston Sampson one.
Yes.
Yeah, it was, we've got Weston and Sampson in there already.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Okay, just making sure that we had it covered.
Okay,
Oh, excuse me.
wanted to do a workshop. I've got a couple of dates in mind, the 6th to the 13th.
What's on the agenda for the workshop?
Well, from the sounds of things, this is going to be on the agenda for the workshop, for one of moratorium primarily. I mean, we're going to have it here, and we'll see where we go from this, and then see what we'll put on it.
Well, I have no problem with the dates. I just would like to know what the agenda is.
Well, we could talk about
That's not-
EDUs.
Exactly. EDUs.
Have you looked
EDUs
at
will
this
be on it.
EDU schedule?
Yes, I have, and I get very upset at it.
Dry cleaners.
Okay, never mind. We'll do
One
that.
EDU
That'll
per
come up
dry
at the-
cleaning machine.
That'll come up at the...
Uses no water.
That's going to come up at the
How about one
workshop.
EDU for each bay at a,
Workshop.
there you go.
Which date would you people prefer, 6th or the 13th?
Is the 13th a Friday?
Negative.
Damn it.
Sorry.
I'm flexible. What time are we talking?
Be Thursdays.
Afternoon?
Yeah, oh yeah, 1 o'clock.
Sandy,
How's
what are
that?
your schedule?
Don't count on me, I may have to take an emergency trip to California.
Oh, shit, not again. That's
What's wrong?
the Same one you went before?
He's being released after 7 months in the hospital in rehab, and I have to make sure his house is ready for him.
Oh, your dad?
No, a dear, dear friend.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember that.
So don't count on, I have
Okay.
no idea where I'm going to be.
1 o'clock, which date would we like?
Sooner,
What day of the week is it?
Both of them are Thursdays.
well, Thursday,
Sixth
we
or
have
the
a sewer
13th.
meeting anyway, so I would prefer
Well,
to do it on the
that-
6th where we don't
Well,
already
we
have a
do it,
meeting.
we can do the workshop and meeting.
No, I don't want to see you people twice in the same day.
Oh, no, just do a
Do it at the same
continuation.
time. We do the
We
workshop.
agree on something.
First half hour is the meeting, and the
We
rest,
do the meeting first and then the workshop.
that works.
Everybody will be there at one point, so.
As long as we have WCTV to cover.
Wait a minute, what'll the playoffs be at that?
Doesn't use his room.
Oh,
wouldn't be in
this
the
room is
afternoon.
being, yeah, we have to be careful.
Do the meeting at 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We have to be careful about what room we're in as to who's already using it.
We're gonna do I was thinking of using the conference room
Down at the plant?
at the plant.
I thought we weren't allowed to do that for meetings.
No, we can do that.
Enough room.
No, there's no,
I thought
there's
we
no
said-
space,
I
there's
thought we
no
were told
space.
we couldn't do it for
In room
meetings.
27, we can certainly do it there.
Yeah.
There's no space there.
There's no space in 27, but you're doing
Better than
27.
better than the office at the plant.
All right,
We
the
can do it
conference
on my
room down
deck.
there? That's
You bring the
perfect down
beer.
there.
I don't
We've
think,
had a
so.
large meeting in there.
No, yeah, everybody stand on top of each other.
No, they don't. We were all,
You're not gonna
we
be
had a large
there.
meeting just last week.
You had a large meeting there? I guess I didn't know about that one.
No, you weren't invited.
I thought we
Yes.
were told we couldn't have meetings.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah, we can't.
it was,
Yeah, we can't? You're really getting into this politics, Bob. Oh, yeah.
first, we have to determine the room and then if it's available. I like this room here.
Are they supposed to, know when they're supposed to do any construction here? Do you know? Okay.
Then we have to make sure WCTV can cover our workshop.
We'll have it. If they can make it, they can. If they can't, they can't.
Then the 13th, starting at what time for the workshop?
1 o'clock?
So 1 o'clock, and then we start the meeting at 6:30?
No.
1 o'clock, we start the meeting, and at the conclusion of the meeting, we go into the workshop.
Half hour business,
Yeah.
and go on.
You aren't going to need hybrid for that meeting, are you?
Nope.
Okay, so I have all the time.
Which date have we settled on?
13th?
Copy.
In room 520?
I don't have that copy.
So there'll be two separate agendas, one for the meeting and one for
Yes.
the workshop?
Okay. I don't need a vote on that. That's already decided. Okay. Next, we get the approval of Kelly's invoice. Kelly has sent us,
I don't believe we approved the invoice because it's charged directly to Scott's account,
Okay,
his
then-
business account.
we can scrap that one then.
Don't we need to approve that the work was done?
Why? I mean, we've got the
So
minutes.
We have minutes.
I mean, what I'm saying, we've got the minutes.
You approved it's her work.
You
which
approved
is
the
her
minutes, and that's what she's doing, so.
That it's
Isn't that the
charged to
same?
his
Okay.
account.
Because we didn't do it for Christiana, right?
No, we don't
I
have-
didn't hear Bob.
We didn't do it for Christiana. She was a,
She was an employee.
yeah,
This is a contractor.
the same thing. It's
but it still
contract-
falls under Scott's.
Yeah,
purview.
his contract account.
Okay, that takes care of that one.
So we don't have to approve anything, it's his budget.
Right. Moratorium. The suggestion has been limiting release to existing dwellings for additional bedrooms under the new EDU schedule set forth in number 6. New dwellings on vacant lots with existing stub under the new EDU schedule set forth in number 6.
Makes whether or not, we've just said that, then anything,
Well, I
anything new as of today approved, regardless, would be subject to that point 2.
Correct.
Further clarifying.
I'm going to put that
Oh,
on.
just a second now, please. This is the discussion on the moratorium. We're all set, yes, we're
Yes.
going to do that. But are we saying if we vote in the affirmative here that we're not allowing any new business?
The email that came from Scott initially to start this discussion, lift the moratorium on vacant lots. Any existing dwellings desiring to add a bedroom and 40B were the 3 items listed in his May 6th email.
Right.
Okay, my question stands. Are we saying that we're lifting the moratorium on residents, but not on business?
The purpose was again to stop the practice of allowing the vacant lot stub to be used to get a 6-bedroom house where your neighbor with a 1-bedroom cottage can't add a bedroom because of the moratorium.
I understand all of that,
is the
Scott,
point-
but
That was the point, and to allow the 40B housing to come in, because it's necessary and good for the citizens. This is step 1. Next would be evaluating how we release it for business, because they're gonna be the cornerstone of really picking things up.
so at this
Should we
point,
have
we
that
are
discussion
limiting
at
it
the
strictly to
workshop?
residents.
Correct,
The dwellings, yeah.
Okay,
because it's controllable.
okay, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, it's not, I don't wanna ever come off as anti-business. I'm all, business all the way, but at this point, those are the things under the moratorium that I'm more than comfortable to lift and allow for more fairness within the town. Because right now, again, I have to say no to a 2-bedroom cottage trying to add a 3rd bedroom, and I don't like it.
Right.
I do not have a list of anybody who's looking to increase their bedrooms from 2 to 3, but we have developed a list of people who have come before us looking for some flow. Do you want to review what those were?
We could do the.
Is it residential?
They appear to be. There's one I'm not sure of, but here, on February 28th, we approved 440 gallons for the Housing Authority. That was already approved because we had flow left over from the...
That's residential.
Okay. On January 25th, we had 15 Gibbs Ave, who wanted 363. They came back and in April wanted 5,280. That's a 40B. Then we had 20 Depot, which won 880, a residential. We had 2 East Boulevard and wanted 240 residential. 15 Narrows wants 220 residential. There was this one thing called Off Broad Street with unknown gallons being requested, and we approved it without knowing how many gallons they wanted.
I don't remember approving that.
328.
I thought we asked him to come back with engineering as to where he was going to tie in.
Off Broad Street, no stub. Map 2, lot. Being charged the betterment. No amount is available.
We didn't
No
approve
usage.
that.
Yes, you did. It was on the list. To be placed on pending list.
Oh, pending list.
This is what I'm looking, this is the pending list. We
Okay,
have
the
a
pending list is not the approved
Okay,
list.
we have a pending list. It was put on an appending list.
Okay.
But I
That's-
have no idea how many.
Pending list and an approval is
Okay.
different to me, Sandy.
We're talking about approving what's on the pending list now to lift the moratorium. But I don't know what to do with off Broad Street since I have no idea what it is or how many gallons to be placed on the pending list.
I would suggest we put that on the workshop discussion and give us a chance to get back up.
Maybe somebody else
Oh,
can
we're
come in
talking
and
about-
talk to us about where this came from.
I thought we asked for engineering on that.
I have nothing in my notes to ask for engineering. We
So-
asked for,
So therefore, we didn't ask for engineering?
And do you have your minutes?
okay, did we approved 328? Yeah, we approved 328. Anybody got the minutes?
I'm sorry, for what date was that?
328.
328 was...
Let's see, Sewer Commission is off Broad Street sewer connection request. Mr. Pigeon explained this matter involves the rejection of a drain layer permit submitted by the contractor for the owner. Building permit submitted is on hold until this matter is rectified. Scott stated the property did not have a stub. Brief discussion ensued. Location of the property, no indication of proposed gallons, and a development betterment charge. The board concluded on a development charge of $18,000, and the applicant must provide proposed gallons. Mrs. Slavin did not feel this project should be placed on the pending list until the total amount of gallons is determined. Mr. Gilberti and Mr. Pigeon disagreed. Mr. Pigeon stated the applicant will be advised when the moratorium is lifted. This project will be included in the pending folder. Ms. Slavin again expressed concern about placing this in the pending folder without knowing the amount of gallons. Nothing regarding engineering.
Nothing, and no approval.
We put it on the pending list.
It was pending, questioning how much flow was actually gonna become from it, but regardless, yeah.
That's what it said in the minutes, nothing about engineering.
Nothing about engineering, no.
But if we take a look, do you want to wait for our workshop should not be any decision or votes or anything like that. So
But we should be, at least have a direction.
we can talk about these pending items that have come before us and the gallons it represents, but I think right now Scott is looking for us to say we will lift the moratorium on anybody who wants to increase their bedrooms up to 3
On existing dwellings.
on existing dwellings.
Okay.
We've already done that.
Lift it on existing dwellings,
Listed on
even if they
existing.
wanna go beyond 3.
Okay.
But they're gonna fall on, if they go beyond 3, they're
They're
gonna fall under the new
1.2.
EDU schedule.
So the idea is to lift the moratorium for those who want to expand the bedrooms on their existing dwelling.
Yes, and I'll tell you the reason behind allowing the additional dwellings goes back to, the additional bedrooms is because typically when you're adding bedrooms, you're just separating people from, that already exist and putting them in their own bedroom. But, again, if you could afford to do these things, you could afford the .2 EDUs.
Most of the projects on here, I think I need to look at 2 East Boulevard. Most of these are brand-new projects being developed.
Right.
Gibbs Ave, Depot, Narrows, those are brand-new dwellings coming along. I have nothing here other than,
And again, some of these were still in the planning phase and were years out.
yes, I mean, there's no way that 15 Gibbs Ave, for
There's
those that
nothing-
remember 15 Gibbs Ave as a school, Everett School, and the 24 units they want to put on that, they're a year and a half out type thingy, so.
Oh, at least,
But
yeah.
they want to make sure they have the ability to hook the sewer
Right.
as part of they can't submit a plan to planning with, or whatever it is,
Until they get approval from us.
until they get approval from us.
Correct.
Right. And to go back to Broad Street, if they're going to connect, it's going to have engineering plans to review
Yes, it will have
regardless,
to.
so.
But
that
we
go-
just don't
It kinda
know,
goes without saying.
we just don't know the gallons.
Right.
And
the
that
others-
they were subject to telling us what the gallons was. And again, the connection would have required them to show us their engineering plans.
222, what's East Boulevard?
Okay, the rest of this, they'll go, okay.
Everyone likes
Okay.
it as written?
So that is the list I have
Right,
been
so what-
compiling.
we'll do that pending, that'll be on the workshop, definitely. We'll need to
Yeah.
get some backup on a couple of those items.
So if we do the workshop first, we might be able to come out with votes into the business meeting.
That's fine, we can flip that around, I don't think that's.
We'll just
a
make
big
sure
deal.
we have what to be voted on the
Right.
agenda.
Yeah.
But if we do the workshop first, the result of the workshop could
Yeah.
end up votes at a business meeting
Okay.
versus the other way around.
Good point, thank you. I didn't realize.
Oh, I got it. 2 East Boulevard. That's what Lockhart was in here, getting rid of Bessie's Fish Market and putting in the duplex. That's
Yeah,
the
that's right.
brand-new building,
That's what that is, that's new, that's right.
brand-new
That's what that
building.
was. The addresses don't necessarily,
See, my note
relate
said
to where they are.
Bessie's Fish Market, so I knew
that
exactly.
makes sense. That I understand. Okay,
All right. It's about tip-off time.
okay, well, I'm gonna turn this back, number 11, I'm gonna turn back over to Bernie.
Wait, did you guys vote on that?
Thank you, we didn't discuss this, but I mean, okay.
Weren't you guys gonna vote on the moratorium, that section?
There was nothing, no. That section there, the way it is,
Yes,
basically,
here's the, sorry,
I thought it said discussion and vote.
yeah, it did, but we didn't.
we are, here, I make
No,
a
no, no.
recommend, I make a
It-
recommendation,
The discussion and vote part of it was unnecessary.
no, I have a motion, I
Go.
make a recommendation that we lift the moratorium on the expansion of bedrooms for
Existing dwelling,
existing dwellings
under the new EDU schedule,
under the new EDU schedule
in 40B.
in 40B. No, not 40B yet,
Not 40B yet?
not 40B yet. I think limited to expanding number of bedrooms for existing dwellings.
Okay.
Based
How
on
many
the-
gallons do you have available? What is your criteria for lifting the moratorium?
What do you mean?
Well, did you,
Well, now that we've dewatered all of Wareham, we're only taking in about 1 million gallons a day, which leaves us 250,000 gallons a day of play. And beyond that, the system's working phenomenal. If we hit that 1.5, we're gonna be okay. We have the plan in place to handle 100% of our permit. You've done the legwork already.
excuse me, let me interrupt.
Crossing that 80% threshold
Yeah.
for more than 90 days in a row.
I mean no disrespect, Scott, but your predecessor said an awful lot of things which were not on paper and were not documented and could not be. And from my point of view, I would not vote until I see some kind of statistical analysis that we do have that.
You're not gonna get a statistical analysis. What you're gonna get is an affirmation that the work you did to add the 2 EQs, the additional D-night filters, was the purpose behind the moratorium.
Indeed, it was. I just
So
want to see your charts that
there's
said
no
that.
statistical evaluation that's gonna provide you beyond the fact that you did the work to allow at least this small amount to be released.
Understood.
So as far as a full release of the moratorium, that's not what we're asking for. I'm asking to be able to provide some relief to the person that sits next to a McMansion that just got built on an existing stub on a vacant lot.
You're basically
Yeah.
looking, you're basically looking to take care of the residents first.
This is a redundancy of 6.
Yes.
Yes,
That's all it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
No.
but I
Already
want,
voted on-
it
and we
is
already voted on
redundant,
6,
but 6 didn't lift the moratorium, that only changed the EDU schedule.
correct.
Yeah, so
This is lifting the moratorium for
I make a
the
motion,
existing dwellings.
we lift the moratorium for expanding bedrooms for existing dwellings using the previously approved EDU change. Did I do that?
Yep,
I think you did.
Yes, I think that
Sounds
does
good.
it. So we lift the moratorium for an expansion of bedrooms using the new approved EDU rate.
there a second?
My second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 All right.
And therefore, we can talk about in the workshop the rest of the pending list
Right.
and the 40Bs
Yes.
and
Definitely,
commercial.
that's on my,
Thank you.
Okay.
okay, back to Bernie.
Okay, Article 11, or Part 11, is the board reorganization. And Just as an awareness, as all of you are aware, I have been considering having to resign from the committee for health reasons. And in the interim, many people have been talking to, we've had a lot of discussions, and they've asked that if at the best, I at least retain my position on the board, but withdraw my name from any consideration for it as an officer, since that is a more stressful position. So, moving into the reorganization, entertain a motion for chairman.
I make a motion that
Mr.
we appoint,
Gilberti.
sorry, I make a motion we appoint Jimmy Gilberti as our chair.
I second.
Motion's made and seconded.
Aye.
You want to, say anything, Jim?
No, yeah, thank you very much for the nomination.
Very good. On the motion to elect Jim Gilberti as chairman of the sewer commissioners, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's a vote 5-0-0.
Okay.
Well, I assume you voted for yourself.
Yes, I did,
The only one that voted against him was Barbara.
as a matter of fact.
We don't have formal position, but we have had a vice chair.
Sorry, Jimmy's now chair.
You've been deposed.
In other words, shut up.
So Jim,
Tough crowd.
No pleasantries or anything. Huh? Feeling the love.
Ouch!
The king has no clothes.
Very well, Mr.
On
Chairman.
that basis, then I'd like to,
Would you like some assistance?
I'd like to nominate Bob as the vice chair.
So, second?
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
I'm not voting for myself.
I'll abstain. Well, you want to give your own eulogy or something?
Vote is 401.
There we go.
And Sandy will retain her position, please.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Okay. Our director's report, please, if you have anything left to.
Again, as always, progress of the plant is fantastic. We've actually discovered a way to take the secondary water and put it into the plant water system, and we're beginning to control odors a little bit better. It's not perfect, so I apologize if there's odors, but it is a wastewater plant. It is getting a lot better. We've also, today the guys worked really hard at moving the existing rock trap outside so that we can start receiving septage, which we will start receiving on Tuesday from select vendors
Oh, yay, revenue.
to build revenue, yes.
It's nice to hear.
So, things are progressing well. Again, we did see some infiltration today from the rain. It was significant. I won't know the exact number till tomorrow morning. But again, we have the EQ tanks to handle that additional flow and put it through the system in a manner that will not upset it.
Are you measuring the infiltration so that, I happened to see the forecast for the hurricane season, and I guess they're saying we're liable to get belted pretty good.
Yeah.
Is this going to affect us?
100%, yes. If we see the big rains, 5 inches plus of rain in a 6-hour period, it's going to affect us. Frankly, it would affect any community. We're taking steps to address these infiltration areas, but it's gonna take a concerted effort to truly lock it all out, and all is impossible, but more is possible, and that's what we're shooting for. That's it.
That's it.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Just a moment, Jim.
Yep.
I've got a note here from Selectmen regarding the annual town reports and having to write something and submit it. Do you want to write it, or shall I write it? It's in the time frame.
I'll let you
that I'm
write
the
it.
Chair. Very good.
You're so much better.
Okay, and just as an FYI, the comprehensive wastewater management plan that we had before, and that was the meeting that you didn't attend, Sandy, that we had that many people, it was the advisory board. That
Oh, I listened with Alan.
Yeah, you're rubbing his head.
Yes, indeed, you get a little
He had a
massage there.
headache.
Just-
Yes, so I listened.
I finally found one, that is to say GHD found one, Cam Dresser had done it initially, and I just asked for the old one, which is 2002, because they're going to produce a new one, and I was just saying, well, what could have changed? However, it's 400-plus pages. So it's not necessarily bedside reading, I can say that.
Well, as been noted in the past, we have to pass it before we understand what's in it.
Thank you, Nancy.
Is that an original quote, or?
Negative, negative. I'm plagiarizing that one.
As you were saying, Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Now, and there was a motion on the floor?
There is a motion on the floor to adjourn.
Seconded.
And the time is 8 o'clock.
And we, Gonzo.
No score.
Good.